Alright, well, here's the second gameplay video we're doing of our drafting. So, this will be a part one unless we do really badly. Since the draft, I did go back and I put up another island in. I didn't like the 7 swamps and then, 6 islands and then these 2 non-basic blue sources. Not sure what I was thinking before, but I mean, if we have enough scry and card draw and cantripping, we'll probably have no trouble getting to like a double black pip for Conrad and Reaper of the Night, and probably, we'll probably have not too much trouble getting a Reeve Soul, black mana for Reeve Soul when we need it. But to do all our scrying and drawing, we need to have like blue mana on like turn 1, ideally, if we have 2 mana. So we can Overwhelm the Apprentice to scry, opt, or turn 2, so we can Golden Egg to cantrip, and well, I guess we don't need blue mana for that, but just having the blue mana, lets us make sure we can Tome Raider for sure, and make sure we can Charm Sleep really early, and again makes the Lock Dragon less likely to be a brick in our hand. So yeah, I went back and changed that because it didn't make too much sense. Other than that, I think we're sticking with the deck we have. I'm on the fence about the Steelgaze Griffin. I was giving it some thought, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to actually have it in the deck after all, because as mediocre as this card is, again, like I'm not too impressed by it. If we did, it can be a way to win. If we attack with a 4/4 in the air. That can end a game pretty quickly if we can consistently, do that, which we have a fair amount of cards that let us do that. In case the Folio Fancy plan doesn't work out. I don't think. Yeah, I'm probably not going to put it in. Maybe if I play one game and it feels like, like my second Moonlit or my first Moonlit Scavenger just really isn't actually that good, because whenever I want to cast it, it's I would have to bounce the So Tiny creature or the Charmed Sleep creature, and very, very infrequently do I actually get to bounce something different, or we'll see how it plays out. But for now, I think we're going to keep the deck as it is. I just switched lands around. And yeah, so we'll probably have to do this in a couple, whoopsies, gosh, save an exit. We'll probably have to do this in multiple parts, because I am busy, a little busy today, but I got some free time right now. So unless we go like 0-3, this will be part 1, and let's kick this off. I'm gonna try my best to be a little less rambly. That is kind of my natural state of being, but I imagine it makes it hard to listen to or learn anything from. So I'm going to try and be a little less just like blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is a good hand. We will keep this hand. It has an island, which lets us Overwhelm the Apprentice on turn 1. Turn 2, we can definitely play Fairy Vandal, which means that we'll be able to, opt the turn after that. We can trigger it. Yeah, we got Reeve Soul and Reaper of Night, but again, we'll have a Scry 2, and then a little later on, like a Scry 1 and a draw, so we can just kind of prioritize. If we see any swamps, we'll make sure that we draw into them, so that we can cast these 2 cards. But this hand looks really good, so we're going to keep it and see how this goes. So we'll play first, so we'll mill our opponent for 2, Scry 2, so we'll get a little info on what they are. So blue and white. So yeah, so tiny. I'm gonna bottom the Moonlit Scavengers. We're pretty low on mana. We're a ways out from the Moonlit Scavenger, so I don't want that to just be dead in our hand if we have a little bit of trouble getting to our other land drops. But the So Tiny is, of course. Oh, well, the So Tiny's getting milled. And a Charm Sleeve. Yikes. All right, well, 2 good removal spells gone. So hopefully they're not playing like an aggressive deck that wants to win with creatures. Based on this, an Overwhelmed Apprentice, perhaps they are not. But it also means that our deck that draws very well is maybe not at its best. But we'll see how it goes. We still have the Forever Young, so we can still kind of play to that out if they just mill us really hard. But we'll see. Huh. Okay. That's not too concerning. We can opt here, so they probably won't block with the Hushbringer because it's a pretty obvious like tell. But if they do, we'll of course opt in response to draw our second card and then eat the Fairy Vandal. And if they don't, then we'll do it anyways to get a second point of damage through. There's that swamp we want. We don't have a ton of enter the battlefield or death effects to my knowledge. We have like the Lock Dragon and the Moonlit Scavenger and the Sage of the Falls, but two of those three, they have other ways to trigger other than entering the battlefield. Tome Raider obviously feels quite bad, but that's like 3 cards that do nothing ability-wise if they can't enter the battlefield, or can't have an enter the battlefield trigger go off. And you know, we have Reef Soul, so we can kill the Hushbringer whenever we need to. I think for now we're just going to mill them for 4. This gets them into, oh no, they're 1 away from So Tiny range, so just killing one of their creatures or something will put us over the top if we draw our second So Tiny. So, happy about that. You know, the Hushbringer is an interesting card. It definitely has a lot of variance in terms of how badly it hurts your opponent. That's for sure. Not a lot of like death triggers, I don't think, in this format. If they were, they would be in black. Okay. Well, pretty good. I think we're going to drop the Swamp and then Reaper of Night, Harvest Fear them to make them discard half their hand. Which activates our second So Tiny, then, you know, really kind of cramps them on options, because they'll either have to discard some lands and not be able to make some later drops, or maybe they'll just discard cards that actually do stuff. Yeah, like a Counter Spell and a Vantress Paladin. Those are both cards that are pretty good at what we're trying to do. Probably discarded them because they didn't have the second blue. It looks like they're kind of stuck on their blue mana. Okay, so if they can get a enchantment, they can bump that up to a 3/3. Oh, pretty somewhat aggressive now. Taking a fairly aggressive bent here. Okay, so we'll play another island. I think we will activate the Queen of Ice effect and then also cast the Queen of Ice. It's probably better than the Merfolk Secret Keeper here, you know, because they just pass it with the Jim Brute, and obviously it can't soft flying cards, so we might as well play the card that can, like, pressure them back a little bit. So, we'll play that here, pass the turn. Then we're top deck mode, which is good for us, because their board is not super threatening. Like, if we Reeve sold the Shine Chaser in response to them playing on, or not in response, but after they play an artifact, or another enchantment, or a enchantment to get the other half of that +1/+1, yeah, we just keep attacking it with the Vandal. Hopefully we can do something to draw another card in the near future. So, attacking with the Queen of Ice is kind of a interesting decision point. Because they can just block it with their own Queen of Ice, and then they're first to untap with it. Because these will lock each other down, then he'll get their untapped tap, I'll get mine. And then they'll go back to theirs, and this will untap, and this will still be tapped down. which isn't ideal for us. I think here we're just going to play the island. We're going to probably keep the Fairy Vandal back on blocks for right now. So they can't just attack with their 2 air creatures, because we are going to lose that race. And we'll keep the Queen of Ice back, so if they want to attack first. And we'll play the Merfolk Secret Keeper as well. That way we can, you know, definitely in a more defensive situation right now. If we can get one more land, we could play Reaper of Night, which either forces them to not play cards out of their hand or, you know, lets us attack with a 4/5 with flying, which does win a race. Okay, well, Tome Raider, their Hushbringer prevents their own Tome Raider from working, which I like to see. Yeah, didn't read the fine print on that one, huh? It's not just me, friend. This is only affects creatures, so the Golden Egg coming in will still draw us a card, which is pretty sweet. Thankfully, also, the Fairy Vandal gets bigger. Charmed Sleep. We can now Charmed Sleep something if we wanted to. Kind of an interesting choice. It's Charmed Sleeping something now is a really aggressive decision, because we can... You know, we can Charm Sleep a creature and just kind of start swinging with the Fairy Vandal. Considering we have the Charm Sleep now, I might Reave Soul the Queen of Ice so that this can attack and not have that situation I was describing. If they want to like double block so that I trade one for this or I trade with the Queen of Ice, I'm pretty happy about that. So I think I'm going to do this and then take a more aggressive... I'm going to make an aggressive attack with the Queen of Ice and see what they do in response. Yeah, so they'll take that damage. So that's good. The Queen of Ice can't block, really. So being able to swing in is not the worst thing for us. Alright, hopefully we can... That seems strange. We are getting pretty low is the problem. It's possible they have the Squire. The Squire, which does 2, gives a 2/2, which lets us kill the Tome Raider. It lets us bounce on the Hushbringer and would kill us with the Shine Chaser. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's... They also have they could have Outflank, but we're getting so low that I don't think we can, you know, afford to just let 4 damage go through here. So I'm gonna operating on the assumption that it's the Squire. This is the best, and if it's a, you know, if it's an Outflank, then I mean they would get us with an attack. And if we attack back with Fairy Vandal, anyways, at later points. So we'll just do that right now. I'm trying to think, maybe a So Tiny. We'll see. So Tiny kind of no. So Tiny doesn't work there. Oh, I see. It's together. Okay. Yeah, that works. That's pretty good because yeah, I'm gonna lose. I think I had 2 counters on it, so that's yeah, I've already blocked, unfortunately. So I can flash it in now, but it didn't do any good during the attacks or the blocking stage because it's too late for that. But at least we're as efficient as we can be. Okay, well, we got the Reaper of Night, and we know they don't have a counterspell in their hands. We'll quickly play this out. This can probably change a fair bit about our situation. We'll swing in with the Queen of Ice again. Again, it can't really block the threats we want it to block. We still have Charmed Sleep for the Shine Chaser if that gets too dangerous. And then, but the hope is we might have to use the Charmed Sleep pretty soon here, because we want them to run out of, we want them to go down on health from the Reaper of Night as soon as we can, so that they start holding back their flyers to block with. Yeah, go ahead. It's fine for right now. We also have the golden egg still, and we have no real reason to use it for mana, so we can probably cash that in for food relatively soon. I'll probably put this here. Presumably they're just attacking because they can have that bounce and gain a life. Or they have something. Okay, that's what I figured. Wonder what they were thinking about. Could have been an outflank. It could have been that. Well, they don't have outflank mana right now, so maybe it was like a so tiny. Tome Raider doesn't really work, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the Charmed Sleep here because we're getting pretty low on mana. Oh, maybe another Runaway together. Oh, they can't use it this turn. I guess at least I'll get if that's. It must. Yeah, they couldn't have been deliberating because of the Runaway together because they have one. They're 1 mana short. So let's get a little aggro here. Swing them for 6 damage. There's a lot now. They can chump with the Tome Raider, which reduces their damage on us, which is nice. Or they just take 6, which is not ideal for them. Pretty sure it's so tiny. It's what makes sense given given the mana they have open and the pause they made. So currently, and that puts that up to a 3/3, so it's a good call for us to Charm Sleep that. So a lot less damage, which is unfortunate. We're a few cards away from, going down to -6. So this can still do some damage, but our racing potential is a lot slower. I'm going to end the turn here. I'm not going to play the Tome Raider. I'm just going to crack the Golden Egg this turn. Oh my god, not another one. Oh, I might have to play the Tome Raider just to chump block. This just can't get through with the... My Reaper of Night doesn't even do anything against Shine Chaser. That's quite a top deck. Good top deck. Well, I know they don't have anything. This is just to draw, or to gain life on their end, so we don't want to take that damage, obviously. Yeah, let's cash in our food. Fortunately, the Hushbringer is now hurting us, because we really want to be, playing this Tome Raider and drawing a card, but unfortunately we're just playing it to chump with, which feels pretty bad. I don't even want to send in Queen of Ice, because I don't think slowing that down for 1 turn matters much, considering this is a 2/5 and not a 4/5. So, unfortunately, I think we are going to have to just, play this, get no draw off it. Excuse me. Hope we can get some strong top decks here. This would be a moment where our Revenge of Ravens would be amazing, because we're kind of in a bit of a race with our board. They're swinging in. They're swinging in at us, and ideally we'd like to be able to swing back. We can't really with the Shine Chaser here at present. But, if we had a Revenge of Ravens every time they want to attack with their 3 creatures, And if they want to attack with the Gingerbrute as well, that's damage they can't, or they'll take damage and will heal. So it basically would stonewall them right now. Throw the Tome Raider in front. It's weird that they didn't attack with the Hushbringer. Not sure why. They have a So Tiny now, which is exciting, because we can now blank the Shine Chaser. It still makes it able to block, which is unfortunate. But, hey, it's not the worst thing in the world. We attack with the Queen of Ice. We attack with Queen of Ice, we damage it, and it taps it down. That feels decent. I mean, it means we could attack with Reaper of Night next turn. Okay, we'll go in. They could be representing. I mean, they have mana for like a runaway together, so we'll see what they do with that. They might just let it through because they smell a trick, which is great for us, works for us. Happy to just, do 2 damage here. I mean, considering we weren't attacking with the thing before, obviously that wasn't a bluff. Sage of the Falls, wow, pretty good. Pretty good, really gonna let them kind of... Well, I guess it doesn't... I guess that time it didn't draw them a card, but as they play other creatures, presumably they have a lot of, fairies and non-humans. It looks like they'll get to just cycle through their deck really efficiently and help them find something to crush us with, which is not our ideal situation. No blocks. Play the So Tiny on the Shine Chaser. You can't do any damage. We can't really attack it back for any reason, but wow, that's great. That's awesome. Probably going to attack with Queen of Ice again. If they want to like chump with the Sage, that's fine. If they want to, or just bounce with the Sage, or if they want to chump with their Tome Raider or their Hushbringer or something. Oh, I guess this actually, creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. It doesn't. It actually also stops the Sage of the Falls. So maybe I won't give them that benefit, because right now I can play Revenge of Ravens and kind of just sit here and wait the game out, which is very good news for us. So we'll pass the turn. I mean, it completely neuter. Gingerbrute can't do anything. Tome Raider can't do anything. Hushbringer doesn't do anything, right? Like, they can't attack with Sage of the Falls because I have blocks for it. So it's completely shut down their ability to attack me. So I feel pretty safe right now. They are in white, so they could have cards that remove enchantments. There's that True Love's Kiss enchantment or instant that is pretty strong. I think it's strong enough in this format to main deck it in best of 1, because there's a lot of, Revenge of Ravens is a good card. There's a lot of artifacts and enchantments you want to be killing. Okay, Tome Raider doesn't do anything. I'm going to keep it in my hand for now. I'm just going to keep bluffing that I have stuff at instant speed to do. Because, yeah, playing with Tome Raider now doesn't really do anything for us. If the Hushbringer ever dies, I might play it. But, yeah, considering their Sage of the Falls no longer does anything while Hushbringer's in play, I think that they are currently getting hurt a lot worse than we are by the Hushbringer's prison effect. So we'll see what they do here. Sure. Yeah, okay. That doesn't change much. Anything. Reef Soul doesn't do much either. Again, with the Revenge of Ravens, I'm not really worried about them attacking. Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna keep just bluffing cards, I guess. We want them to have as little information as possible on our hand, and playing the land gets us nothing. Okay, so we got knocked here. Probably trigger at main phase so that we can put a counter on our Fairy Vandal to just keep it growing. They're at 15, we're at 14. Well, we have Forever Young. It doesn't seem like they have like a lot of mill. It looks like that was just, a decent card that they picked for their 1-drop slot. So pretty unlikely that we lose the mill game because we'll either draw into our Folio, a Fancy, or a Forever Young to, put a couple. I guess we only have one card right now, but definitely don't want the land right now. So we'll draw our second card, get the Fairy Vandal. That's pretty good. It's an interesting card. We could honestly use Sir Conrad to start attacking. It's totally possible. I mean, I don't think we're going to resoul this turn, so let's bluff. Oh, I guess no, that leaves us with not enough mana to bluff. Let's I guess we can play the island now. That'll leave us with enough mana to bluff a counterspell, if they're thinking twice about that. They probably... I imagine they don't have a counterspell. If they were just looking to, like, mill us, they probably would have honestly countered the opt, because we're getting close enough that they might just fire it off on anything. They might not have, granted, but again, if they counter Sir Conrad and they mill us 3 and one of the cards they mill isn't Forever Young, then we can still get the guy back. Oh, okay, well I guess they just did opt to not counter the opt because they're thinking about something at the cast step here. Yeah, okay, well, now the hope is, we got 13 cards in library, the hope is that they don't mill either Folio or Forever Young. So we see Folio go and Castle Vantress go, unfortunately. So that's not ideal for us. They can just now sit here and, pretty much just let us mill ourselves to death, because they're now 4 cards ahead of us, which feels pretty bad. Very unfortunate. Bad beats. But the Forever Young is still there, I guess. Currently, it only puts 2 cards in our puts 2 cards back into our deck. We also have Run Away Together still, so if they don't have another counterspell, we can Merfolk Secret Keeper to mill them for 4, which then puts them ahead of us on the whole mill thing. But we'll see. It's very possible, and indeed likely, that they have another. Yeah, well, that didn't trigger, so nothing gets bounced. But that's a good card. I mean, they could start attacking into us with that if they wanted to. Oh, okay. Wait, we got Mystic Sanctuary. Is there anything we want to get back? Not really. I might hold this in case we get Forever Young milled. In case we get, in case we use Forever Young and then want to use it again to kind of make our mill matchup better. Okay, so this isn't going to trigger. I think I will play Tome Raider. There's a chance that they start attacking with the Moonlit Scavenger because I have no real... I do have a good block, so they probably don't. Because I have Revenge of Ravens, so they don't do that, unfortunately. Well, if that's the case, I think I'm going to start attacking with the Queen of Ice. Because they can chump it and let it die. They can either chump it or kill it, so we'll see what they choose to do. because I can start pinging them for 1, I suppose. And, you know, if they don't mill us to death and we can get a Forever Young, that will put us ahead, which is the hope. Hopefully we can, you know, use it at a moment when they're tapped out like they have. Perhaps we'll draw our Forever Young, and then they'll try another Moonlit Scavenger or something, and then we can play it safely, because right now our safety is, you know, not assured, because they have so much mana now. We're so late to the game that they can basically... Oh, God. Well, there goes the Forever Young. Yeah, well, things are not looking good for us, unfortunately. They milled both our counter mill strategy and then the card that made the protection from mill feasible. Hate to see it, hate to see it. Very unfortunate. This card would have been a lot better earlier in the game, too, because by the time we played this, like, they were, yeah, it seems clear that they were really happy to just sit here, and, you know, this actually worked out in their favor, I guess, because it meant that they had the better situation for the matchup. I'm going to swing the Tome Raider in. Well, for some reason I can't understand, they are pretty happy to swing. Oh my God! Okay, so they were just waiting for theirs. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. I just lose now. Nothing I can really do. Running away together doesn't do anything. Well, it was a long game. It was kind of a unfortunate game. Pretty bad beats. Getting our folio milled, not getting it earlier, you know. Yeah. Really unfortunate. Maybe we should have Forever Younged earlier, but Forever Younging at that moment got us back something like 4 cards, which wasn't impactful enough to have changed anything anyways, as it were, so I was kind of hoping to be a little bit greedier, because that was the only way to really win that game. Yeah, oh well. Let's see what time it is. This part 1 might actually only be 1 game with our deck, as it is. It's 11. I'll play 1 more game, and then I'll have to stop to go make some food and then run out for a interview. But I'm going to take a quick break to grab some water, and I will be right back. Okay, well, probably should have closed my door. So if you heard any loud noises in the distance, I don't know how sensitive the mic is. That was just me smashing my whatchamacallit, ice cube tray to get the ice out. uh, nothing sinister. All right, let's play another game. That one was pretty close. I'm trying to think of the factors that really kind of cost us there. Ironically, the fact that our opponents couldn't draw like crazy. Although to be fair, they did have the Merfolk Secret Keepers. They did have the mill power to really trash us there. It's entirely possible. Okay, I'm going first. We have 2 swamps, no blue. Man, if one of these swamps was an island, this hand would be just gas. But as it is, and I'm not on the draw, I'm going to take a mulligan here. Okay, this is better. Probably put the Mystic Sanctuary on the bottom. As much as I hate to say it. Mystic Sanctuary doesn't do us much good. We're going to try and draw another land on turn 2. Hopefully draw to a creature or something early. Maybe Reaper of Night on turn 4 to deny them resources. And we're just going to kind of hope that we don't get run over here really badly. Well, I mean, I could just... No, it's got to be Mystic Sanctuary. So we'll play the swamp. Hello as well. Okay, well, against the aggressive matchup, we of course have an extremely slow hand. Not ideal. Okay, well, that helps. That helps. Either this can continually block something that doesn't have 4 attack, or like they can block this and they'll have to pump a ton of mana into it to kill it. But either way, that draw has us feeling a little bit better. Alright, here's our 1 Secret Keeper. Let's see what they have. Okay, so it looks like they have kind of some draw 2 stuff going on with this, the Merchant, the Golden Egg, and the Wolverine on the battlefield right now. That's interesting. Maybe they're mono red draw 2? If they are mono red draw 2, then us getting rid of the Mad Ratter puts us in really good shape. I'm going to make them pay 2 mana to deal 1 more damage than they would. That'll slow them down in terms of developing their board. Which seems good for us. Yeah, see, they chose to not pump so that they could develop the board, so ultimately a much better exchange for us. Okay. Interesting. Huh. Well, we could Charm Sleep the Redcap Raiders. Certainly a 4-3 with Trample is pretty bad for us with our 0-4. We could also choose to run away together, which could be quite powerful because providing they tap this, or tap maybe the Weaselback to pump this, so we can block a 3rd thing, bounce the Redcap, and that's a whole lot of tempo loss for them. We also have So Tiny as a backup if we do that. I think I'm going to do that. I think I want to save Charm Sleep for something a little more dangerous. Possibly something that Sage of the Falls can't block as well. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pass the turn to them. See what they do with it. So it kind of just looks like a mono red like aggro deck that just has a lot of the draw 2 synergies. So they're probably just kind of have a half and half sort of deck. Not the 7 dwarves. Not like this. Alright, so we'll see what they do. Okay, so they don't opt for the... Oh, no, they can tap the 7 dwarves. Of course, right, because it's a dwarf. Well, in that case, we'll do a similar thing, of course. So we'll block the Blood Haze Wolverine. They can choose to pump the Weaselback if they want, and then we'll Forever Young the Redcap Raiders and our Merfolk Secret Keeper to get more mill down. Okay, so they're spending 2 mana to deal 3 to us. That is good. I don't think it's good enough to panic So Tiny here. So we'll bounce these two. So we're going down to 15. Not ideal, but against this probably aggressive of a deck, that's also probably a pretty decent turn for us. So we have enough mana to Reaper of Night, but I don't think I want to just yet. Potentially, if I wait one more turn, I could very well get the last two cards in their hand. And right now, I don't want to do something as slow as just paying 4 to make them discard 2 and then taking a billion damage back. So, try to play this top 4 cards in their graveyard. Let's see what else they got. Oh, another Mad Hatter. Okay. Oh, well, dodge a bullet there if we draw our Folio. If we live long enough to play Folio. Okay, so we got the Merfolk Secret Keeper. Play the Swamp. We totally have the, we don't need to tap Golden Egg for mana at this point, because we have the 2 swamps that we'll ever need. So we don't need it for fixing. So we can either choose to use it for food, or this turn we can Sow Tiny. We can use it to Sow Tiny. We'll probably only do that in like an emergency situation. Like if, for example, they decided to attack us and then pump all of their mana into Weaselback Red Cap, which they have not. They play Ogre Errant, which is pretty good. It works with the Weaselback Red Cap, which could be a little dangerous because, they could just choose to just keep on attacking. Okay, well, quite good. Oh, they got the Barging Knight. Pretty sure I should Sow Tiny at this point, because I don't want to lose the Merfolk Secret Keeper. It's really kind of helping me mitigate small amounts of damage every turn, and losing it at this point would be really bad, especially if we don't draw like a mana to play Sage of the Falls or something. So I think the correct play here is to now crack our egg, keep the Secret Keeper alive, and kind of just neuter this so they can no longer do anything. Okay. So we'll play Sage of the Falls here. We'll draw a card and we'll see what we discard. Both of the cards we currently have in our hand are pretty good, and we probably don't want to discard them, so it would have to be something quite impressive for us to not discard it. Like, if it's a land, we'll discard it immediately, pretty much, but having a 2/5 we really quite badly need. We'll take action. Yeah, so we'll dump this land, because we do want Charm Sleep and Reaper of Night. Like, next turn we'll almost assuredly have to Charm Sleep. Oh, they had a second color. They were doing all this with only one of their colors. Man, I don't feel nearly as confident anymore. It seems like it was probably like a splash, like they were mostly red. This is a tough choice. They have the ability to spend all their mana to make this a 7/1. So I think I'm going to double block it, because they either have to spend a lot of mana, which kind of stops them from playing anything else, to kill our Sage of the Falls, and then they can't play cards next turn, which lets us really easily Reaper of Night them, or, they just let it die, and then they can cast cards instead. Because they need to pump it twice, which brings them down to 2 mana available, and then these trade, so it's not a bad exchange for them, that's for sure, but my 2 creatures have powerful enough toughness that I can, I get out of this with a creature left over and they have to spend almost all their mana. Yeah. Sure. I'll take 3 from the Ogre Errant, unfortunately, but like letting that through, for example, instead of doing this, and letting them, if they wanted to, do 7 damage to us when we were at 12, would have been probably a really bad decision. Okay, so here we're going to, so we're in a pretty good position. Like, next turn we might take 2 from the Dwarves, but we can jump block the Ogre Errant. So if we Reaper of Night them right now, we can reduce them to just top decking. And we're very close to actually casting the Reaper after doing this, so we might potentially have, you know, another, like a 4/5, which will block a lot of their creatures very well. So we'll see what they have in hand. They probably have... Oh, okay, so they wanted to be able to do something with that. So that's pretty good. I mean, it's the best case scenario for them. It gives them another creature to commit to the board. They lose the ability to like pump this to like eat our Merfolk Seer Keeper, but that didn't go horrendously for them. So I'll block with the Merfolk Seer Keeper here. See what they drew. Yeah, seemed unlikely. I mean, they could have got a combat trick, but it just seems like they were going to just push through damage, which is the correct call. Okay, so now they can rummage, which, oh, praise be. Alright, Revenge of Ravens, awesome. Okay, so their attacks become a lot less good for them. I mean, they could still do a lot of damage to us. Like, it's not an ideal situation, but I mean, if they full swing, we go up to 11 before damage is even dealt, which really provides a nice buffer. And if we can Charm Sleep next turn, that does, you know, same thing. Well, they just gave us an extra bit of health thanks to them just kind of all attacking with the Wolverine, which is nice. We'll block the Ogre Errant. And we'll go down to 5, which isn't great, but we have Charm Sleep in hand, and we have So Tiny in hand, which is pretty awesome. So we'll Charm Sleep the Ogre Errant so that way they can't give anything Menace, and then we can So Tiny the Raging Red or the Redcap Raiders. Now we're basically just waiting to hopefully get one more land. Maybe we can play Reaper of Night or like another creature to block with. But with the Revenge of Ravens, it makes them really hard to like kill us outright. Even with just one blocker, like it'll take them a lot longer than they probably anticipate. Okay, so they're gonna rummage. Oh no. God, negative 3/2 with first strike. Absolute gas. What am I gonna do? Okay. It's fair. It's fair play. So, first they take 4, we go up to 9. Then they will tap the Bloodhaze Wolverine to make that stronger. We will block the Rimrock Knight. And we will So Tiny the Redcap Raiders. So we're going to take 4 damage. We'll go back down 5. Alright, there he is. Alright, so now we have a 4/5, so now their attacking is even less advisable because they'll also lose creatures. So I think now we just sit here and we just wait to draw. Folio Fancy, you know, draw just more stuff. Yeah, they're gonna just keep rummaging. It makes sense. They want to draw something they can use to deal with us. Like a Searing Barrage, I think, yeah, Searing Barrage I think wins them the game from this position because you know they'll do 3 damage to us. They'll bring us down to 2. They can attack with a bunch of creatures. Okay, the Redcap Raiders doesn't do enough because we can block and eat it with Reaper. So now we just get to keep we get to keep on tapping and drawing, which is where we want to be. Yeah, the Revenge of Ravens can be quite strong. Revenge of Ravens has stopped us from losing this game at this point, and I don't think like of the cards we drafted, like other 4-drops wouldn't have done that much. I don't think, or as much, I should say. You know, like Lock Dragon wouldn't have done this. You know, like or just cards around that rarity or that slot, like you know, or like Reeve Souls or Charm Sleeps, like removal spells would do one thing, but they won't stop like this go wide strategy they have. Speaking of go wide, I think I'm going to Reeve Soul the Redcap Raiders because again, we don't want them to you know, get too strong or get too many creatures out because you know that means at any point if they can remove the Reaper of Night, they can just full swing if we're just keeping removal in our hand. So we're going to cast Reef Soul on the Red Cap Raiders. See if they respond with like a pump spell. I guess the Reef Soul will fizzle, but it also means that they don't have the pump spell for the attack step. So it seems like a pretty obvious choice to do that right now. You know, again, we just want to keep untapping. Want to keep drawing, want to keep untapping. If I had maybe one more blocker, I would get a little aggressive with the Reproof Knight, because, you know, if I bring them down to a point where they are so low that they can't attack with anything or they'll die, you know, then we're feeling pretty good. Probably gonna cast Charm Sleep on one of the 7 dwarves. Seems like they probably have enough. You probably wouldn't play those cards unless you had like 3 of them. So they're the scariest thing on board for sure. Cast Charm Sleep on this one here. So if they attack next turn, 7 dwarves from Rock Knight, Merchant of the Veil. I think I'm gonna play it safe. If I had one more creature to block with, I would go in with Reaper of the Night here. But they're not low enough that, you know, like they can definitely have a full attack step if they have a way to like just kind of win by pushing damage through. So Tome Raider though, okay. So we'll draw another card, another land. Not really what we're interested in. I don't hate this position either. Again, if they go really wide, Tomb Raider can like trade with the Rimrock Knight, and then we can Merfolk Seeker Keeper one of these. And if they attack with all 4, that means that we're at the same life total that we were at before. It seems somewhat unlikely that they would. It seems somewhat unlikely that they would have creatures that, or something that would pump them both by like 2 of these by 2. So it isn't unheard of. I think I'm gonna just keep playing conservatively. I can start swinging, like chipping in with the Tome Raider as well to you know, to keep a big blocker back and just keep chipping them down and making Revenge of Ravens even bigger of a threat if I want to. So Golden Egg lets him cantrip, lets him fix for green, lets him activate the Bloodhaze Wolverine, which doesn't do too much against our board. And I'll go in now with the Tome Raider. Swing for 1 in the air, just start bringing them down lower and lower. You know, they have the Golden Egg, admittedly, so they're kind of at 3 life higher than it appears. But if they play 1 more creature, then I'll start keeping the Tome Raider back. But the although maybe they're at 7 already. Maybe my strategy should not be to attack with the Tome Raider and just let them mill out. Presumably, they wouldn't keep using Merchant of the Veil if they had if they didn't have something to get with it, because I gotta know that we probably have the ability to mill them more. It's possible they have like Questing Beasts. Like, there's not a lot of cards that you would, when you're clearly mono red, there's not a ton of cards that you would go out of your way to put green in your deck for. Uh-oh. That's bad. I don't think we're dead. But that definitely makes me regret attacking with the Tome Raider. Sure. So we'll go up to 9. We're gonna take a lot. Okay. They're looking for something. They're looking to push as much damage through as they can with the Bloodhaze Wolverine. At least. Well. Okay, so we're down to 1. Hopefully they don't have something. Okay, we really need to, yeah, attack it with the... Oh, that's good fortune. Okay, so we can flash this in so it makes us stronger than we appear, which might make them attack in a way that is not good for them. So we can't kill... Well, hold on. No, we can't kill them with the Reaper of Night and Tomb Raider. We're close, but we can't kill them, and if we do just kind of go all in, they can just heal, so they can attack with 3, and 3 would kill us. Even with Fairy Vandal. So unfortunately we're gonna stay back. We're hopefully gonna flash in the Fairy Vandal to make them attack in a way that is not good for them. Because again, Tomb Raider trades with Rimrock Knight, so. But at this point I think we're happy to just try and make the game last as long as we can. Right, because like the correct play for them right now is to just, in terms of what's on board, to just do, yeah, exactly that. Because this makes us dead on board. So then we'll flash in the Fairy Vandal. Sure, yeah, they'll trigger their Bloodhaze Wolverine. So now we'll go to block on the Rimrock Knight, block one of these lads, and we'll jump with the Bloodhaze Wolverine, and we'll take 2 damage to the face. Okay, well, we win the game there. Not through attacking. What is it? 2 or fewer cards. So we'll attack and we'll force them to use their Golden Egg. I don't think there's anything in their colors that's going to stop what we're about to do. But we're going to attack them. Then we're going to Forever Young to put Merfolk Secret Keeper on top of our deck. Draw it. Mill them. You know. They're at 4, so that'll win us the game. So. This would also maybe be the play anyways. I probably wouldn't have done it otherwise. Because, yeah, because they'll go up to 5, so they'll go down to 1 here, which means that they can't attack with a single creature, but I was also at, you know, they also had 4 cards in library, so I was pretty happy just letting them mill. But Forever Young means that we basically lock up this game. We'll just put Merfolk Secret Keeper on top, we don't need anything else. Put it on top, then we draw it. Then we mill him. Alright, that was another long game. Got there. It's pretty tight. Revenge of Rain is really the MVP of that game for sure. Not even really close. Well, that's good. It's nice to, you know. So we always after we lose our first game, we always feel better when we avoid the 0-3. But yeah, so that's probably part 1 of this video, and we'll come back and finish this later, maybe sometime next week. Probably, well, maybe on Saturday I'll take some time to work on this. But yeah, for now we're just gonna call it quits here. 2 games in the can. This is probably gonna be a really long video given our deck's play style, but that's okay. We'll just plug through it whenever we can.